Yeah. So this is
some
the
people listen to
free
this.
Zoom, right? So it's 40 minutes. Then we're gonna have like to recall each other.
No, dude, I pay for this. I
Oh
do hour and a
shit.
half long podcasts.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
this won't be an hour and a half long, I'm pretty sure, but
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All good.
the long ones are the Disney ones because we just go on forever. This one tends to pan out about 40 minutes to an hour usually.
All right.
So that's
All
what we're
good.
looking at here.
All good. All good.
Um, I have not mastered the form of the short form podcast. I don't know. Do you listen to like 10-minute podcasts? I tend not to.
I don't actually really listen to podcasts because
Ah,
I mostly listen to audiobooks.
yeah, that's kind of the same idea, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it
I
is.
and I only listen to podcasts when walking. Almost. I
Oh,
shouldn't say
wow.
always, but almost always. Like 99% of my podcast listening is I get out of the house. Like before I got up at 7, check my blood pressure because I have to do that. And then I took a walk before this.
What do
So,
you mean you
and
have to check your blood pressure? Do you have high blood pressure now?
yeah, I've had that
What?
probably my whole life. I remember like even as a teenager, I would like people were like, "Hey, let's go use the blood pressure machine at the drugstore," and I never wanted to because even then I didn't like the numbers it was telling me.
What?
Yeah, I run
No.
hot or I run pressury. I don't know, something like that.
If you run high.
I run
Yeah, that
high. Yeah.
sucks.
That's
Yeah.
what when Kiki told me like they were talking about Monster Energy drinks a few months ago, and I was like, "Oh, I've never had one." She was like, "You don't need one."
No.
So that's probably correct. So, but yeah, yeah. For me, it's like walking around. Like I have certain places where I'll walk, and I'll just like, oh, since I'm walking here, I need to listen to this particular podcast now.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I usually listen to the audiobooks when I go to bed.
Oh, but then you're not, aren't you falling asleep and not getting it all?
When I do fall asleep and I realize, I just backtrack,
Okay, I have trouble
or I
doing
just
that
shut everything
sometimes.
off and like go to bed.
See, I'll just give up sometimes. Although I do have the thing where you fall asleep watching YouTube, right? Like a few
Yeah.
nights ago, I fell asleep watching YouTube, and I wake up at like 3 in the morning, and it's like playing a 3 hour video about no, well, dry facts about warships and dry dock. Like this 3 hour video. I'm like, how the hell do we get here?
Yeah, yeah. How did we get here? I don't get it.
Oh, speaking of which, profanity. When we were doing the '60s Twilight Zone, I actually did edit the show for profanity and stuff. Now that we're in the show where they just drop F-bombs, I'm like, I mean, I try to keep it classy, but don't worry if you
Yeah.
drop an F-bomb because I'm like, if the
Uh,
show has F-bombs, we can drop F-bombs. That's the
I'll
way I
do
see
my
it.
best not to F bomb, 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 bomb,
Yeah,
bomb.
yeah, yeah. I used to add in like the little censor when I did the '60s
Oh,
show because,
God,
well, I
you.
thought, like I was trying to get more listeners. I'm like, well, I don't want to like offend old fogies who might not want to hear F-bombs, right?
Hmm.
At this point, I mean, this isn't like the biggest podcast, but there's enough people are listening. I don't think anybody cares, especially if they're coming in for the modern Twilight Zone. Have you seen much of the? Well, you know what? I'll start the show and ask you about the
All
Twilight
right.
Zone. Then that makes more sense. Give me a 5 second pause,
All
and
right.
just so I can spot it when it makes the editing easier. Welcome to Time Enough Podcast. It's where we delve through all of the episodes of the Twilight Zone and beyond. This is Matt here. Over there, first time on Time Enough Podcast. It's Alan. Howdy.
Hey, what's up?
You were on my old podcast, Oral Hygiene. We did 2 episodes. I remember us talking about radiation on that one as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. We're talking about that thing in Russia that like they decided to test nuclear weapons without telling people nearby.
A
So just
nice lighthearted conversation there.
yeah, yeah.
This one still has radiation. It might be more lighthearted because we're in sci-fi. We're in 6 Degrees of Freedom. I only learned like just before we got on 6 Degrees of Freedom actually refers to aeronautic controls, pitch, yaw, up, down, left, right.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, because the title didn't really make sense. I had trouble remembering the title of this episode, like a lot. When making my schedule, I forgot. I'd have to look it up again. Now that
Mhm.
I know what it means, it's easier to remember. But
Yeah.
I was going to ask you though, like, what is your? I mean, you grew up in French Canada. Do people dig the Twilight Zone up there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on TV. Well, I don't know if it's still on TV, but when I was a kid, it was like running.
Okay, they're still doing the New Year's marathons, to my knowledge. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean that
We
that was
don't.
never my jam, but I appreciate a Twilight Zone fan who does want to just marathon, do a New
Yeah,
Year's
yeah,
marathon.
we definitely don't get that here.
When I was a kid, I do the Star Trek marathon, so I would do those.
Oh,
But yeah, Age of DVD though, I got them on DVD. Why do I need a marathon? I can marathon myself, which I never do because I don't have time for that.
eh, who does have time?
Have you seen much of the original show?
Not much. No.
Okay, I'm just curious. And then this is the 2019 version,
Reboot,
which
right?
yeah, which I don't want to say nobody has seen. Hey, I saw someone starting this podcast. It's one of the reasons I was like, oh, I can do the old one. I can do newer ones. I can do the ones in between, you know? But I found of most people doing this particular one, it's like it's the first time for everybody so far.
Yeah. And I was actually really surprised when it started because the voice of the narrator was really familiar. I'm like, wait a minute, I know who that is.
You worked it out.
And then I'm like, wait, now that lost all credibility for me now because like he's a comedian, he just fools around all the time, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, but he makes movies now, right?
he
So,
does.
Get Out. Okay, so you're off the beat here. Get Out. Nope. He's become our horror auteur, which is kind of
Really?
why he's doing this show.
What?
And I'm a broken record on this, but he's not Rod Serling. Like he's here as the narrator and probably for some creative advice as a producer or whatever. But he's not. His skin's not as much in the game as Rod Serling, where Serling was writing like more than half the scripts for the show.
All right.
I think Peele wrote like the story for one episode, and I mean he's off making movies. I'm not calling him lazy or anything. I just
Hmm.
it is a distinction that it's easy to say the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone, but it's not really.
Yeah.
Um, I will refer you to the turbulent sketch on Key and Peele, which that for me is the one where I was like, oh yeah, this guy should do the Twilight Zone.
Really, I haven't
It-
seen
it-
that sketch.
yeah, look, and anyone listening, look up turbulence, Key and Peele, and that's where I was like, it's a perfect cross reference between comedy and like proper Twilight Zone. I think so.
Oh, nice.
His guarantor for at least being the narrator on this show. Uh, well, I guess I'll ask we're not going to get too critically deep at the moment, but what was your initial impression of this episode? I am curious.
I. It's not a masterpiece. It's not garbage either. I enjoyed watching it, but yeah, I mean, the idea is good. The idea is interesting to explore because, hey, who knows? It might happen one day. Who knows? We might slip into an actual Twilight Zone, and
Are we there already?
we might be. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, maybe this is the weird alternate timeline you get in comic books where everything has gone wrong. It's sometimes hard to say, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I was asking because this episode, without saying I disliked it, I was like, it's more interesting to describe the plot of this to someone than to watch.
To
The
watch
execution
it.
seems a little wonky because one of our coworkers, I described her like I was like, yeah, it didn't quite fire on every cylinder. And I explained the plot. She's like, that sounds amazing. I'm like, yeah, it does sound amazing, and we'll work through it and see what's happening. So. That said, me being like, I don't like this one as much. This so sucks compared to the original. Go watch The Bard again. That's an episode of the original. It's the same
Hmm.
length and it's unwatchable except for 2 minutes with Burt Reynolds. So,
Oh.
um, this is better than many episodes of the original Twilight Zone for sure. But yeah, we'll get into it. Let me
Hmm.
do a little trivia.
Yeah.
Work people in. The original air date here was May 2nd, 2019. Heather Ann Campbell and Glenn Morgan wrote the episode. Campbell is from a comedy background, having worked with the Groundlings, the Upright Citizens Brigade, and was a writer for Saturday Night Live for the 2010 season. Morgan is an executive producer on the show and also, oops, ha, I just combined two trivia people. There are two people that wrote this. Okay, stop at the Saturday Night Live 2010 season. Morgan. Okay, Morgan is an executive producer on the show and also wrote episodes of The X-Files with James Wong. There we go. That was correct, and I second guessed myself when I was wrong. Now everyone's confused. There's some trivia in the writing. Jacob Verbruggen directed. He fittingly directed Men Against Fire, an episode of Black Mirror, and episodes of House of Cards, but I guess we don't talk about that show anymore. Did you ever see House of Cards? That's a spacey show. That's why
No.
it got canceled in more ways than one, I guess. Um, I haven't seen it, but I did. I guess since that show's been almost memory hold, I found real cheap Blu-rays of it and have them to watch someday if I feel like it. So it's supposed to be good.
Hmm.
Uh, DeWanda Wise stars as Alexa Brandt. You can also find her in the Spike Lee Netflix series She's Gotta Have It, which aired in the late, what do we say now? 2010s? Teens?
2010s.
Okay, because teen still means 1910s, doesn't it? If I say, hey, this book was written in the teens, what does that mean now that we're in 2026? It's
Um,
going to change. Teens is going to have to mean like this century soon if it doesn't already.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, interesting to think about. Catherine Langford plays Lucinda Dryzek.
Hmm.
Another Netflix actor, she appeared in the series 13 Reasons Why, as well as a role in the film Knives Out.
Oh, okay.
That's been at the top of my to watch list for what, 5 years now, but I still haven't watched it, which is
Really?
yeah. Hey, media podcasting, man. Every night it's like, do I get to watch something I want, or do I need to watch something for a podcast? And choice
Yeah.
two is usually what happens.
Yeah, work, work.
Jefferson White plays Jerry Pearson. He has also had roles on Yellowstone and Chicago PD.
Oh, really? On Chicago PD?
Ray Tanaka's Jessica Williams. She has also shown up as a correspondent on The Daily Show and took on the role of Lally Hicks in the Fantastic Beasts series,
Hmm.
which I have not watched.
Wait, there's a series?
Yeah, there's like 3 movies on it.
Oh, okay. The movie is not a
Oh,
TV series.
the
I was like, wait a minute.
no, it wasn't. No, series as in movie
Movie
series. Yeah,
series. All right, all right.
but hey, wait a year.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to make a Harry Potter TV series and just redo the whole
yeah,
thing.
they are, and that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Have you been to the Harry Potter store in Harajuku?
Uh, no, but I've been to like the in Tokyo. They had the like
Experience thing?
the experience thing where they brought pieces of sets and all of that, and we went there, and it was pretty nice. I enjoyed it.
Okay. The store in Harajuku is just a store, but it does have a very trippy elevator where it's dark with mirrors and there are hanging plants and there's owls and stuff. And
Uh,
I enjoyed their escalator. It's probably not on the level of what you saw though. Last one, Jonathan Whitesell played Casey Dolan. He has appeared on series like The 100, Riverdale, and the Netflix series, more Netflix, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, along with a show called Beyond. This thing, we have all these Netflix folks on here, but yeah, this Twilight's on CBS, not Netflix. So that's kind of interesting.
mm.
Uh, I guess how that all incubates around that time. Alan, you have, I guess, on the side of your screen that opening narration. If you could give that to us.
Yeah, so here we go. So we've got five Voyagers setting sail into a mysterious red light 35 million miles across an empty sea, soaring in the greatest invention ever created by the human spirit to escape a catastrophe made possible by the most destructive regions of the human mind. Individual madness or shared nightmare? The answer lies in their search for safe harbor here in the Twilight Zone.
Here we are. Okay, so one thing let's came in hot with this episode a little bit, but I'm always down with a cool ship, and I definitely like a cool spaceship that was built on an obvious budget. That's why I like 50 sci-fi. I think this kind of knocks that out of the park.
But the inside of the ship is pretty tight. I like it. It's
Exactly.
not.
We get the geography of the ship, like it's pretty clear where all the
Yeah.
pieces are by the end. Yeah, so that's why this episode is so weird. Everything, the story sounds good, the ship looks cool. The acting, is that a little light in this one? Just to put
Uh,
that right on the table. Uh,
so the character that I enjoyed the most is actually Pearson. The actor, for me, best actor in the entire episode.
yeah, yeah. Well, he
I
is
like that.
kind. Yeah, he's kind of the key there in the end, right? But
He is. He figured it out.
he figured it out. Does he regret being just, I mean, we can jump to the end. I assume if you're listening to this, you've seen it, but does he
Oh,
regret being
no, he
right?
does not. No, he grins. There's this smile at the end of like, I knew it. I was right, and shit's gonna go down now.
Something I thought about was, have you seen the I think it's maybe year 2000, 2001 film Mission to Mars? Weirdly directed by Brian De Palma. It's got Gary Sinise, I think is the star.
I have not seen
Tim
that.
Robbins is in there. Okay, because that has a thing where they go to Mars. It's slash it's one of the Disney ride movies, although it's not like beholden to that or anything. But yeah, they end up on Mars. Lots of tragedy. People blow up. All that. Gary Sinise ends up like traveling. Doing a warp speed or some transporter with aliens. He's gone, and the other surviving crew members, I guess, go home or they're stuck on Mars. I don't remember how clear a movie makes it, but he made the choice in there where this guy is. It was like he was too smart for his own good, kind of in a way.
Mm.
I don't know. Should he have got should the aliens have given him a choice? I guess is kind of something
Well,
straight up. Gary Sinise got a choice.
yeah, but the whole point of the episode was to see if humans were salvageable, right?
Hmm.
At the end, they say like, humanity, you know, kind of deserve salvation. That's literally what they say.
Literally, yes.
And it's like, well, do we actually?
Yeah, the Twilight Zone, it feels like we almost skew darker usually with the Twilight Zone. I mean, there's some happy episodes. This one is like, I guess there's so much existential dread through the first 40 minutes of the episode
Yeah,
that
there
maybe
is because when you think you're the only people left alive on the entire planet and you're not even on it, I mean, hell, you're stuck in a ship with limited resources, food, air, and like you said in the episode, I mean, it is a slow suicide mission.
yeah. It's I guess the key turn at the end where they're saying like humanity is ripe for salvation after watching people be kind of horrible to each other for 40 minutes. It's kind of a weird tonal shift at the end.
Well, were they really that horrible to each other?
Well, okay, they were like, don't bang. We can't have more people in the ship. That makes sense. It
That makes
logically makes sense.
sense.
At the same time, if you're the last five people, I mean, it's like the Battlestar, Galactica reboot where the president's like, people need to start having babies.
Yeah, but they were technically on Earth. Like wait, did they in Battlestar Galactica were there any like human births on the ship?
Well, it was a fleet of ships, so
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
they
So, all
yeah.
right. Well, that works for them.
Yeah, but they had, I mean, they have the number at the beginning. Like it starts off at like 100,000. By the time you're in season four, it's like 50,000 or something.
Yeah,
And so that's enough people to at least have a properly, genetically safe. Uh,
but five?
Five's a little bit down to four, right? Later,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what
Well,
happens to Pearson in the end. I don't think they send him back. I don't know. Do they? They don't make.
that's
That
a
is one thing. I watched this episode. And, I need to catch up because I watched it the first time last week, and I was going along with a plot summary. It's like Act Four, and it's like Pearson's with the aliens and blah blah blah. And I'm like, did I like fall asleep at the end of this episode? And when I went back, I was like, no, it is just like 2 minute coda there.
yeah.
But it does seem that is kind of the main crux to the story.
But the experiment is over. They have, like they said, we have all the data, and we know, we can give them a chance and make contact. Literally, that's what they said. Like, let's make contact.
Are they just making contact with Pearson, or are they making contact?
Well, no, they're going to be making contact. Well, actually, the entire experiment is just an experiment, right? There's still people on Earth. Nothing actually happened.
Yeah, that might be
Oh,
one of the annoying things about this episode. Is there's way too many contrivances for them not to be able to contact Earth again. The canopy simply will not open until you land on Mars. Why?
yeah,
You know, we cannot contact Earth anymore. It's like ships have like eight. A spaceship has like eight redundancies. There should. I mean, I guess highly technological aliens might be able to work it out. But I'm like, it seems there's a lot of contrivances to get into the situation. Trained astronauts would probably have a few more tricks up their sleeve, I think.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Definitely.
Um, this okay, here's a real specific question that having watched it twice, I can't answer. This is a private ship or a government ship? The Bradbury, Heavy Bradbury. I got the name of the ship. Whipple, Brain Center at Whipple's from the original series is making a lot of technology. So I do feel like this is more of a SpaceX thing than a government thing.
Uh, that's a good question. They never actually mentioned anything, and
We don't see
yeah.
NASA anywhere, so
No, we don't.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume this is a private thing, which would suggest it might be a little wonkier, you know?
Yeah, potentially.
I just feel like let's I know NASA's not military, but let's at least call it paramilitary and how they operate space missions.
Yeah.
And they're gonna this I just don't feel like this would happen, you know?
If it was NASA,
Yeah.
well,
You got ground control in Houston, blah blah, where how does SpaceX or all these things work? Do they use NASA infrastructure?
you know what? Good, that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe we should look that up eventually, but
Yeah,
it's
sorry, mid podcast, maybe it's not the time to start
yeah,
having
yeah,
these
yeah.
revelations, but
But it is a great question. I mean, how is everything handled?
yeah, and because it does, I mean, it does feel like a crew made kind of for media presence. Like we have a nice, diverse crew we're sending up, right? And I think NASA does that too now. So, but
Yeah,
they don't have the kind of like, I guess, paramilitary swagger. They do seem more like people who, this is more like alien people working for the Wayland
Utani.
Nutani Corporation or something, right?
Well,
You
yeah.
could see those folks getting lost in space or getting losing contact in space more easily.
But then again, I mean,
Maybe I'm putting too much stock in NASA. Maybe they brainwashed me. I
do
don't know.
do private companies technically have more funding than NASA?
That's
Does
another good
SpaceX
question because
have more resources than NASA?
keeping in mind I mean, think about the 60s when NASA had a massive budget because they're going to the
Yeah,
moon to beat the Soviets. Like in this situation, this does seem to be near future, right? So it might be different in that regard.
yeah,
I think I'm going to come down on this feels like a private endeavor though, in the
yeah,
end. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't
probably.
matter too much, but it does factor in like who is on the ship, like how they are thinking. Um,
Are they
th
sufficiently trained to be there?
yeah, they don't. They
I
seem
mean,
sort of, and it's such an extreme situation. Even training might break down at that point. Like this is serious psychological, damage.
at liftoff, when like the entire like, oh hey, we're being nuked thing was happening, and they were debating if they were going to no, take off or get off. And one of the astronauts, I don't remember his name, but he said, I didn't train for 4 years just to abandon everything. So they did get 4 year training. I don't know actual astronauts how long they actually trained for, but
No,
I mean,
I would assume even a corporate one would get that kind of training, because it's sometime this year they're planning to send people around the moon again, right?
they are
Yeah, yeah. And the
not
idea
aware
is
of that.
to land again in a couple of years. And I think it is a dragon that's doing that. So, we're just getting, until like what, 2010, it was just like everything is NASA. And since
Hmm.
then, it's gotten a little more, it's getting murkier,
Yeah,
which in this one, I guess the people writing the show and making a show are probably in a similar murk honest, because I feel like since 2010 there's been more ramp up in private space travel too.
yeah. We got SpaceX, we got Blue Origin. Doesn't Virgin guy, what's his name?
Richard Branson.
Yeah, wasn't Richard Branson working on like space stuff as well? Like, hey, commercial space rides, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Virgin's planning to do that.
And he
So
wanted to build hotels on the moon.
yeah, yeah.
Would you go? Would you buy yourself and your family a ticket to the moon?
Price matters, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, are we like, is it something like I can almost afford, just barely afford? Is it actually cheap? Do I get to do it for free?
Uh,
That all factors in.
yeah.
Do I get
Hey,
a voucher?
let's go to the hotel on the moon. Oh, I'm indebted for 20 years now.
Yeah. Um, But movie, who do you, in this episode, I guess it's what is it? North Korea is launching the nukes, which I don't know, seems a
Isn't like
little.
North Korea and Russia together?
That might be the case. I just remember hearing North Korea, and I was like, huh, kind of weird choice. As weird as sealing the porthole for the entire trip.
Yeah,
That did bug me. Um, and this is another interesting change only in the what 6 years since this episode aired is the AI aspect. We have Tina, their
yeah,
AI computer, which and same with Interstellar too, where they have the AI guys, right? The
yeah.
weirdly moving robots, but we have such a different relationship to AI only in like the couple of years since this episode aired, you know?
And I mean, what we have right now is not even actual AI, right?
Yeah, should we
They're
assume Tina
L.
is actual AI or is it the same sort of thing?
Well, she's able to operate the ship and some of the systems of the ship, so it might actually be an actual like what we would call an AI.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can't ask ChatGPT to. Well, there's the operator mode now. That's been there for a while, but I mean, still, you can't really ask it to do anything. So
I,
Tina
I've
might be actual like borderline non-sentient AI.
yeah, I've done very with I mean basically the well I guess we'll call it current AI enhanced search engines.
Yeah.
Um, and the most I've done with that is ask like guitar gear questions so dorky in particular like you cannot ask them to another human. People just like nobody wants to have that conversation with you. That is what I think the use of this thing is. You have
Yeah.
the conversations with that you would not try and have with another person because it's too specific and dorky and annoying.
Hmm.
That's where I found the use. It's like tell me about specific guitar pickups, and nobody wants to have that conversation. Um, I'm just looking through my points here. Twinkling stars, you'll get starstruck. Yeah, it just is weird their lack of telemetry. I mean, I remember on some Star Trek where, like the Discovery, it's like, yeah, they have a telescope to break out if everything else fails. I mean, these folks should at least have a telescope to look through.
Yeah, but they have cameras on the outside of the ship, right?
Yeah, they can't zoom one of those in on Earth and see if everything's blown up real
But
good.
did in the beginning of the episode in the beginning of the episode they did have like external cameras and they were looking, but
Couldn't work anything out.
what were we seeing?
Mm,
It wasn't really clear.
yeah, yeah.
They did operate on not a lot of information also, whether to take off or stay behind.
I like that. I did like the Dewey launch or not. It's like, and then, they have how many months, 4 months or whatever of regretting their decision. They say, what is it, 230-day trip or something, is it?
238.
Oh, I'm impressed my memory was that sharp, to be honest.
Yeah,
Uh, so that's 6, so then 6, that's like a 9 month trip. Okay.
yeah, give or take. Yeah, yeah, a little less. 7 months.
Could you do it? Can you
That's
last? Are you gonna get space madness, Ren and Stimpy style, if you're on that Mars ship for 9 months?
if you're alone, most likely.
We got four other people.
But there's like four other people. So, but that's another thing, right?
Are you one of the two doing it in the cargo hold? I guess is also a question. That
But that's another
I
thing,
couldn't
right?
last. I was telling you I listen to podcasts walking around. I have to get out of the house like a lot for some reason, like just psychologically. If I ever end up in prison, that'll definitely screw me up. I think I don't.
But you can see them stressing out during their entire voyage. But shouldn't these astronauts have been like stress tested and psychologically evaluated to make sure?
One, I mean, this has they think the Earth has been nuked, so that adds stresses that they would not have tested for.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, if this is the first Mars mission, I mean, you can test all you want, but you don't really know how it's going to go down.
yeah. Well, any test. I think I built in the space, man, dangerous. So you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you don't even know what's going to happen when you get out of your house.
Yeah, I mean, right now they what stick people in, capsules in the desert for 6 months and see how they get along.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the testing that I'm sure these folks had maybe did.
yeah, probably.
I would assume the people that do the crap you on Earth get to go to space eventually. I don't know how this works.
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be able to do that.
Another thing, just watching YouTube documentaries, it's how dependent our current ships are on ground control. So I'm also wondering, like, can the ship really function without any support from ground?
Well, he did mention halfway at the beginning of the trip where they were supposed to get an update for the AI, but because there's no ground control, they're not getting an update, and nothing followed up with that. Nothing happened.
Yeah, it worked out in
And
the
it
end.
just worked perfectly.
They got lucky. There we go.
Yeah, they got lucky.
They did do the launch. I was talking about how they went out on the ship. The launch, I liked it. It was a stylish launch done cheap,
Yeah.
so they didn't have to show any particular special effects.
No, yeah, that was nice. I liked it.
Um, I did. I also like the couple attempts they try and like kind of like reclaim their humanity, like having that birthday party or whatever, which
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, but they were trying. They got Polaroids on the ship, or the modern hipster version of Polaroids.
I didn't see any Polaroids though.
There was something like that. I think it was during the birthday party, if I remember. But I got an eye out for retro cameras. I'm in the camera store. I'm not buying any of them. Polaroids, they're fun, but they're kind of definitely pointless and expensive at this point, I would say, unless you've
It's
got a real urge for
item.
them. uh, just scrolling through my stuff here. No musicians, that bummed me out. I'd at least have
Uh,
them drag a guitar onto the ship. Uh, Here's a weird one. They got Ray Tanaka played by not a Japanese person. You and I are living in Japan, so that certainly stuck
he could
out.
be half
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they wrote it that way and then just like it casted ended up somewhere different and then they just never changed the name.
the name. Yeah, that's possible.
A little weird. Uh, I guess we'll go ahead and crank in. You got any other big points you would just throw out on this before we start throwing questions on it?
Well, there is one point when Piers starts explaining that all of this is not real, right? That's when you see that the aliens are like, oh, we kind of screwed up somewhere because they start throwing all of these things at them, solar
Oh yeah,
flares,
every
everything
emergency
inside
happens
the
right as he does
ship
that.
starts like going out, short circuiting, and it's like, come on, isn't that a little too weird?
If you are the commander of the ship, I mean, I guess your focus is one guy seems crazy. Now everything's going wrong. You kind of have to deal with the situation as it is. I don't think they would have really had time to think about it too hard because they're not convinced. So they're like, everything's going wrong right now?
Yeah.
That's going to take your attention off of what he just said. And he didn't do it from he didn't Spock it on him. He came too emotional, I think.
Yes. He
If he
went
had,
crazy about it.
right, if he did it from not so much of an emotionally compromised position. That would have helped a lot. Like,
But and the funny thing is though, is that a little later in the episode, like once they think that Pierce is dead, and when he mentioned one of his experiments was like testing if there was crystallization in the whole thingy that he put his fingers through, that he said there's nothing, but there should be. The aliens kind of like salvaged their experiment by actually putting crystals within the thing for the other girl to find just to save the entire thing. So they kind of like, oh, we screwed up here. So we kind of need to like fix that problem. And that was interesting.
here's a logical flaw, though. The problem he used that as proof that they were still on Earth, and they on Mars at the end? I think they are on Mars at the end.
Well, isn't all of that a simulation? Because Pierce opened the airlock, but he didn't die. They just like moved him like from room A to room B. That's the
Yeah,
feeling that I have. Like they never actually. I don't even think they're on Earth. They're somewhere else.
that could. Do you think they launched?
It was a simulated launch, but they're not. They never really launched. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
I do think the end of this is a little bit. It's too on the nose and too vague at the same time, kind of.
Or maybe they actually did launch, and they were able to control in space, the entire environment and thing,
Yeah.
which would make them extremely advanced.
Maybe they're dragged into, the mothership or something, you know?
Maybe they're on a very, very big holodeck.
Yeah. The other thing I thought with Pearson, when he is kind of screaming at them, I'm not crazy, this is the truth, right? But you know the end of Plato's Man in the Cave story, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. He comes back and tells everyone else the truth and they kill him for it, right?
yeah,
So that definitely stuck in my head as I was watching this.
yeah. True.
But let's go questions. Who in this episode travels in or through the Twilight Zone?
Piers. No.
I, I'm willing to say the entire cast. They're all under the alien experiment.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's only five people in this episode. There's a few voices. I did not in my trivia. I did not go through all the voices. Sorry, folks, but yeah, there's like they get that one radio ad or something, and then there's Mission Control at the beginning. So there's a few voices, but basically five people are in this episode. I
Yeah.
assume no one on Earth. Earth probably thinks they just lost a ship, right? Even if they're still on Earth or in
If
space,
we
whatever.
launched, yeah.
Even if it didn't launch, it would have what vanished or something because they're in alien land.
You see, this is where things get like not complicated, but there's a lot of possible different path
Yeah, it's once you
that
start
we
pulling the
can go
threads on this
with.
one, it gets a little wonky, you know?
It's like, are they still on Earth? Are they no longer on Earth? Are they in a ship, alien ship? Is like we don't know.
Like I give Twilight Zone license to be vague because it's a Twilight Zone. It's not Star
Mm,
Trek where you kind of need to explain everything to a certain degree, right? This one doesn't need to do that, but it seems to like kind of go a little bit in several directions without kind of
yeah,
making a settlement, which diffuses. I think that's why it's so interesting to describe this episode, where when you watch it, it's a little it doesn't quite fire, you know? As we talk about, I feel like if I were listening to this, I'd be like, man, this sounds like a great episode, you know? It is
yeah.
weird. What didn't I can't put my finger on what quite didn't work here.
Well, I didn't when I read the synopsis, I was like, wait, so they're going to be during flight time, like maybe halfway to Mars, they're going to get this message that like all the countries were nuked, but it's actually at the beginning of the show, and I was like, okay, well, that's boring for me. Like straight out of the beginning was like, well, that's not interesting for me. I didn't like that. If it would have happened halfway, I would have been, oh, now you're fully committed to your trip and you can't come back.
I did find the Dewey launch or not discussion like kind of cool though. I but I could also see they're halfway through the mission, then lose contact also being interesting. I mean, uh this might be one of the problems with this episode is the movie Sunshine just did all of this like so much better.
Mm,
I'll even defend the third act slasher film aspect of Sunshine. I like that movie a lot, and yeah, this kind of just feels like a maybe a pale TV version of that vibe.
mm, yeah,
Um, the old school Twilight Zone were usually 25-minute episodes. This one ran 45, I think. Um, I'm
yeah,
not I'm not sure I'd have cutting it would really affect how I feel about some of the other episodes. The first one of the series, The Comedian, I was like, this would be amazing at 25 minutes. It's good at 50. This one I feel like it'd be about the same even if you did the edit.
yeah. I felt for me personally, it was a little too long.
A lot of these have that, and that's kind of a discussion we keep having. I am kind of like coming more and more to 25 minutes is the sweet spot for a Twilight Zone. Just enough time to throw that high concept in. You don't have to sit there and pick apart the high concept too much.
Mm,
Um, I mean, this one does devote its extra time kind of to character stuff, which if you are going to
yeah,
work it out is probably better. The Comedian again, it had to build in this whole like butterfly effect subplot, which they could have cut out. This at least tries to build on the character as it drags its or stretches. I shouldn't say drags as it stretches its time out.
yeah.
um, Anyway, do these people deserve their trip into the Twilight Zone? If you want to focus on Pearson for that question, go for it. But because he's the one dragged out of the ship, right?
Well, I mean, he's the one who kind of, and I don't know why that happened in the episode. There's a scene in the episode where Pierce is actually working on some circuitry within the ship, and he's doing tests. And then there's static on his device, and he literally sees uh, something that looks like an entity or an alien, but he actually sees them. And so for me, he went through Twilight Zone 100%.
They
The other
deserve
people
to.
he deserve well, does he deserve to? Well, yeah, he does because everybody else thought he was completely bonkers.
Okay, so does the rest of the crew deserve being there? I mean, come on, being experimented on by aliens is that puts you in the Twilight Zone at least somewhat. So,
It does, but they're
thinking
not
Earth is
aware of it.
dead, that puts you in the Twilight Zone somewhat.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I always say with astronauts, it's like, especially explorers, it's like, hey, you don't know what you're gonna get. So, in
that
a
yeah,
way, you deserve it because you have to be prepared for everything,
yeah.
anything.
Okay, they deserve it,
It's
all
sort
of
of
them.
the astronaut clause. If you do it, you deserve it. But like you were talking earlier, would you take that commercial flight to space? Now it's like, would a commercial traveler deserve it? Probably not. But
No,
explorers who've been training for 4 years,
yeah,
you get what you get. It's
yeah.
very weird in this case, but that's what's coming your way.
You're literally signing up for weirdness.
Yeah. Um, let's go ahead and put this one on the trip-o-meter. 0 would be not trippy at all. 5 would be extremely trippy. Decimal points are fine.
Trippy meter? For me, I'd have to say like maybe a 2.5.
Okay.
2.5 for me. It's not trippy. I didn't go, wow, that's insane. I
Yeah,
went
the
like,
twist isn't really a mind blower in this one. You're like, I know something's happening at the end. Oh, okay,
yeah,
it's aliens. So sure, why not?
yeah. I mean, in the beginning, I thought that he was actually going crazy. It's like it's too much for him, and he's like starting to hallucinate, and his mind can't take it. But yeah, like when he started rambling and all that, I'm like, oh, that does actually kind of make sense, but not. I wouldn't put it in the trippy zone department.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking 2.5 and 3, and the 3 was basically I like the spaceship is where that extra part was
The
coming from.
spaceship, the interior is super nice. I like it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, that's
very
where
IKEA.
again, I'm thinking of Sunshine because I'm comparing this ship to Sunshine. Sunshine also being an extremely cool ship done on a budget because that movie is that's probably the most expensive movie ever that did not actually have that big a budget. It just looks expensive and it's
Mm.
not. Again, if you haven't seen that, but high recommend there. Maybe some people don't like that movie. Um, yeah, but yeah, I'll go ahead with that 3 and be nice to the ship and give it a 3 for that.
All right.
You got a final
Fair.
thought on this episode? I was actually surprised how much we just ended up focusing on Pearson because he's not the screen time. They were all pretty equal in this episode, so it might be partly just the acting didn't catch on fire in this one. Where, yeah,
Well, the reason why I give him so much time, it's because out of five people, he figured it out.
yes, that kind of makes him the primary one that he figured it out,
He figured it out. So,
and everyone else thought they were committing a slow suicide. So,
well, yeah. I mean, we're going to Mars. They're staying there for what? For how long were they supposed to stay on Mars?
I well,
We're supposed to come
once
back.
I don't think they get in right. In this situation, they can't really go back. They think they cannot go back anymore, so I don't think they really discussed that much. It might have been like thrown, tossed out at some point, but I mean, this crew thinks they're not coming back ever,
Yeah,
right?
we're not coming back.
I mean, if you are really going to Mars and you're going to try and start, a small colony, I guess you don't plan to ever come back to Earth.
Yeah, but that's technically the point of colonizing.
Get your ass to Mars. Can't get out of here without doing
But
that.
yeah, I
So
don't know why they were talking about, well, coming back to like maybe establish the colony, and then other people would come to like meet them up, and then the original crew would come back to Earth to see their family that they left behind.
Anyway, from their perspective, all these plans are out because they think the world
Yep.
blew up. So
Yep.
it I mean, in the context of the episode, I guess it
Which
doesn't matter. And
which also makes zero sense. You can't wipe out all of humanity like that. There will be some survivors. A small, very small portion of the population, but you can't wipe out every human being on the planet. That's impossible.
in the plot description I'm looking at here is the North Korean missile attack has reportedly destroyed several American cities. My nose, well, they didn't say Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta's okay.
But I mean,
Anyway, Earth is going to suck now, that's for sure. But yeah, there
yeah,
probably are people there still, even if there's been a nuclear core. Well, we'd like to think. Who knows? Maybe we're being too optimistic. The On the Beach thing. Have you read or watched On the Beach?
on the beach.
Yeah, it's the book is I think the book and the movie were both done late 50s, early 60s, but it's after Russia and the US have gone to war and like not everything blew up, like you said, you can't blow everything up. However, the unintended consequence is there is a radioactive haze and the final survivors are in Australia and they're trying to live their life as normal. They're working on cars, they're having parties, but the radiation's creeping down, and when it gets there, everyone's dead. And there's an
Oh,
American submarine that's kind of there. They go and check out it, see if anything's left, and they find like a perfectly um, in Oregon or Washington, they find a perfectly intact city that nobody can live in because the radiation's too strong. So,
huh.
very very good book movie, extremely depressing. But yeah, and then at the end, it's just the submarine as the radiation's about to hit the southernmost Australian city. They just go off to sea and for a slow suicide. So
Yeah,
that though is so much more detailed. It's clear what's happening, whereas this one everything is vague. And
yeah.
like you said, you and I are like, well, I don't know. There could be people living underground. There could be cities that just didn't get attacked. Maybe
I
uh,
mean, they have like, for example, the U.S. government has contingencies like to protect the. There's like a complete list of people that needs to be saved during nuclear uh, annihilation.
and the plans could not work out. But yeah, it's like we were talking about Battlestar. The 5 billion people or more in the Battlestar universe is down to 50,000, but there's still some people.
There's still some people.
Yeah. So, but it would be I mean, I guess they would need to go back. Or they do. Of course, you go back, you do a sea landing. No one's there to get you. You're kind of
That's what
screwed
he says,
there.
right? They'll drown because no one's going to pick them up.
Yeah.
They have finite resources,
So,
the finite fuel, finite air, food.
mm.
So, I
I
mean,
guess you'd have to go back and hope for the best.
yeah,
Because you can't live on. They don't have the resources to stay on Mars. As they don't get funky with your partner because we can't have kids.
what's his name? The Martian, the movie.
Oh, Matt
Yeah, it's not
Damon.
not Matt Damon's level of engineering skills.
Right. See, I guess that's the other thing. It's like, how do you do that? And that has the rescue mission stuff. So this maybe this episode just is it's too much of a weak episode, a weak echo of things that we had seen in the previous 10 years with Sunshine and The Martian, Interstellar, if you want to throw that in,
Yeah,
Gravity. This at a time when TV is starting to feel like the equal of movies, this does feel like the TV version of those movies as
yeah,
opposed to cinematic. That might be one of the issues here. I mean, we got in the 60s, there's a Probe 7 over and out. That's where that's what you want, where the ship is already in space and then they get telemetry or communication from home that the nuclear war is happening. So
yeah.
you should go watch that one. That's what you were looking for. So I guess as we wind this down, I'll just ask if you have anything to plug. I know you're eating spicy chicken at some point on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, no plugs, not for the moment. For the moment, it's routine, getting back to work, as you know. And yeah, that's pretty much it from it. I don't have much time for any YouTube stuff or anything like that.
Okay. Well, thanks for popping in here today. Of course, I spent
Yeah.
way too much time talking crap about media. Time enough podcast is this. Please rate and review. Uh, Podcastio, podcastius.org, and Podcastio Podcastio on Patreon is the mother, it's our mothership of this. Films and Filth, we're talking about the top 100 and bottom 100 films as rated on IMDb, but we're currently talking about all the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh
So,
God.
hey, it's my first time
If
through them,
you
so
enjoyed these movies,
they're definitely fun to talk about. I'll throw that out there. What else we got? I call it Disney. That's where we get weird on the entire run of animated theatrical Disney movies. We are about 2016 now. I know this week as we're recording, we're doing Strange Magic, which is George Lucas trying to start another franchise and failing miserably. Apparently, I haven't watched it yet. I have to watch that today, and
that movie,
we'll be getting to Inside Out soon too. So
Strange
those
Magic, is that a movie?
you can watch it on YouTube. That's how I'm going to watch it. But yeah, it's
Really?
written by George Lucas,
Oh,
directed by Gary Lindstrom, the inventor of the lightsaber sound, and it's a jukebox musical, which is something like 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. So we'll
oh,
see. We'll see how this goes. Yeah.
you said musical, so nope.
Well, the worst we've had on that one so far was a Tromeo and Juliet. I think that was an uncanny valley nightmare of a movie.
Really? Well, remember La La Land that had such high reviews, and did it win any like Oscars and stuff?
You think it did, yeah.
And
Isn't that when they said they were going to give it to one movie and then, oops, no, it goes to Lotto, or no, maybe it's the other way around. I don't remember because I don't
my
watch the
wife was like,
Oscars.
"Oh, I really want to see this movie," and we watched it, and at the end, she was like, "That's it. This is so underwhelming."
Is that all there is?
Yeah, it's like, wait, that's the movie. I'm like, well, looks like. She went like, nope, we just wasted like 2 hours of our time.
We just did Toy Story 4. We jumped ahead, and Toy Story movies, of course, are just a wonderful place to start talking about weird metaphysics and existential questions and things like that. So, yeah. Anyway, dig those podcasts, and I don't know. The world's ending, Alan. Should we launch or just stay? What's your choice?
I say both.
Hmm.
Split the timelines.
I make that my edit point. That's how lazy I am. I just look at the sound file. I'm like, okay, there's the start, there's the end. Was there anything in between I need to edit? Maybe I should go back and edit where I like stumbled over my own words and trivia, but I probably won't because it's
Why?
kind of funny.
Why? Yeah, leave it
Well,
there.
you didn't do this, but especially when I have like other like when I have like professional podcasters doing the opening, if they do flub a line, I'll go edit that because I'm like, I want you to sound good because yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the most editing I usually do on the show is occasionally someone's like, "Oh my God, why did I just say that?" And I'll edit that. But which I don't think you said any. I don't know how you feel, but I
No,
didn't hear anything out of your mouth that felt that way. So
no, I don't think so. I behaved.
yeah, some people saying some people regret, saying weird crap. Even me, I'm like, did
Yeah.
I say too much weird crap sometimes? Um, some of these Twilight Zones because they are like the original Twilight Zone's kind of like it's socially minded, but it's socially minded to the early 1960s, whereas
Yeah.
these Twilight Zones are more socially minded to issues that are still on the front burner?
Yeah.
So it's like, am I going to say something that sounds,
That's going to offend someone and then get canceled for that.
yeah, you always wonder about that a little bit. So,
To be honest, what's currently like we're no longer recording, right?
oh, I can hit the button if you, this is
Oh,
Patreon, but I can say buy a Patreon, then you can say whatever horrible thing you want to.
oh
So
no, it's
buy to
not
the
that. There's
Patreonies.
a lot of stuff going on right now that like our generation